Hello everyone, my name is Tomasz Poszetek, and in this video I will showcase you the newest feature that is just added to Power Automate Desktop, that is called machine registration. Now, machine registration is the new functionality that lets you to actually use Power Automate Desktop bots on specific machines without actual need to download, install and configure the on-premises data gateway. You'll simply need now to download the Power Automate Desktop installer, install the solution, and then in the application configure that this machine is registered to be used for Power Automate Desktop bots. This feature works using Azure Service Bus Relay, so the similar functionality as the on-premises data gateway, although it's totally transparent, so you don't actually need to explicitly configure it and do nothing much more apart from simply selecting a checkbox in the Power Automate Desktop application that you want this machine to be present and available for the bots to be used to run the processes. Now, let me show you how you should do that. The first step you need to do is actually to go into My Flows in Power Automate portal, and then in that side, click on the install, and then download the latest version of Power Automate Desktop. Now, note that this is always the place where you can navigate at any time, and here you will always download the latest available version of Power Automate Desktop. And note the second thing, that the newest version is usually released at the beginning or somewhere in the first weeks of each month. So be sure to come back here regularly and update your Power Automate Desktop, since there is always a lot of cool new features coming up. So now just download it, and once this is downloaded, I'll go and install it. Alright, now the Power Automate Desktop is downloaded, so I can simply start its installation. Now, you always have to select these checkboxes up to your consent, and then simply start the installation. Now, note this functionality that is called machine registration is available since version 2.0.73.21119. Okay, now the Power Automate Desktop is installed, and then we can go simply and launch the application, and then I'll show you where to go to start the configuration. Okay, so right now you need to navigate under the settings, and here in the settings you can find this new section called machine. Under the machine, you can simply hit the button to register this new machine. Now, important thing is that this feature, this functionality, it is working per environment. Information about machine registration is stored in Dataverse, and in my next video I will show you how to do governance around these machine registrations. What is important here is that you need to select for which environment you want to register this machine, and then simply hit the button to register that machine. Now, once machine is registered, you can then change its name. So later, when you will use this machine to run Power Automate Desktop processes on, and you will use it to configure connection in action to trigger Power Automate Desktop, you will be able to simply recognize it and know that this is the machine you want to use. You can as well define its description, and you can as well add it to a group. Now, what are groups? I'll tell a bit later. Right now, what is important is that you can navigate to a new section in Power Automate portal. So expand the monitor, and under monitor you'll find machines. And this is the place where you can actually find all the machines that have been registered. I'll just refresh that, since my machine was just recently added. And so here you can see that the machine is already present. Now, what you can do with that? You have multiple options to actually work with that machine. So first, you can go and see the run queue, so what the process is running currently, to see the history of run process on the machine. You can as well manage the access. So if this machine is just like a standalone, not in a group, you can actually grant access for other users, and then this access can be granted on either a user level, so that that person can actually execute processes on that machine, or a co-owner So this person can actually manage that machine, can share it with others, can either delete it. Also here you can see all the details, and you can actually delete it. So that about the single machine. Now let's jump to machine groups. When we were using on-premises data gateway, there was a feature called clusters. So when we are registering a new machine in a specific data gateway, in the specific on-premises data gateway, we are either able to create a new gateway or to register that machine inside of the existing gateway, what was creating a thing called a cluster. Cluster was meant to orchestrate processes assigned to a cluster, so to distribute them across all the machines registered underneath. And that's the same thing with machine groups. So once you register one or more machines in a group, the group is actually orchestrating the processes. So then you are not running your Power Automate Desktop RPAs on a specific machine, you are running these processes on a group, and then group is simply distributing these tasks, these jobs to available machines from its group. Now, once you navigate to machine groups and you'd like to create or register the machine, the first step you have to do is to register this test group, this machine group. I'm already thinking about what I have to type in, and this is where all these issues are coming from. So first step, register or create new machine group. Second thing is to add machine. Now there is still some kind of mixed up, because right now this click should trigger the Power Automate Desktop application. However, it is not, so I'll navigate here manually. And then what you have to do is to simply add this machine to a group. I'll now hit to refresh so that this machine group should be present. All right. You also need to define this recovery password. This password is something that also was present in on-premises data gateway. So if you would like to add a new machine, re-add this machine to that group, you would have to type in this password again. Okay, so now I'll just add it. This is done very well. And now once I navigate here under the machines, I would see all these machines that are present inside of that group. Now, with a group, we can actually do the same things as we were able to do on a specific machine level. However, these are just done on the group level. So as well, you can see the run queue, you can see what the tasks, what jobs are waiting, what jobs are being executed, which jobs are completed. You can go as well into the run history instances. You can delete group. You can as well manage the access. So when managing access to a group, you're actually granting the user an access to run processes on any machine inside the group, or to be a co-owner of that group. So again, that person is going to be able to add new machines to the group, is going to be able to share this group with others, and is also going to be able to remove that group if needed. What is important right now is that when you add a machine to a group, you can only share access to that machine on the group level. So once I navigate back to machines, you will notice that once I select this machine, I cannot set its I cannot share it with anyone anymore, because this access to the machine is now being handled by the group. So this is the only important thing, the only difference, like what happens with the machine after you join it to the group. So that is something you have to keep in mind. All right, now let me show you how this machine is going to look like, and the group actually of machines is going to look like when I want now to trigger Power Automate Desktop. So I'll go to my flows, and there I have a cloud flow called, let's call it trigger a path. And here I have this action that runs a flow built with Power Automate Desktop. It is already configured to use one of the existing connections which were created using the on-premises data gateway. Now I want to create a new connection, and just see what's the difference. So you can still use this old legacy approach with the on-premises data gateway, or you can switch the connection to use the directly to machine, and that's in the preview. And now here you can select either the group or a machine. So if my machine was not added to any group, it would be visible here just as a single machine. However, because I've added it to a group, therefore I need to select the group because the single machine is now not selectable. The other thing I have to do is to provide a login name and a domain of the user who has access to every machine in that group, so that their account, their credentials can be then used to access any of these machines from the group, so that this orchestrator is going to be able to run the RPA processes on actually any machine inside the group. If you're adding just a single machine, then you would need to provide credentials to access that single machine. All right, and that's it. You can see that under the connections, there is this new connection created for the test group, not for the any on-premises data gateway, which is really cool. And this way you can actually start working. So I hope that this video is going to be very useful for you, that you understand now the concept of the machine registrations and the machine groups, how these work with Power Automate Desktop and local or virtual machines is going to change right now, how much easier it is actually going to be for you and for anyone to make integration, to make actually connection between a machine and the Power Automate cloud flows, so how to trigger the RPA, and that you're really going to like it as much as I do and use it in your processes. Thank you very much, and in the next video that I'm going to record and release, I will show you how to actually do governance around both Power Automate Desktop flows and machine registrations. So how you can actually grant permissions for specific individuals or for the security roles, and how to really manage the access to what and who can do in your environment in terms of Power Automate Desktop. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next time, bye bye.